Hello, you are listening to Simon Neil on BBC Radio Scotland, and I'm honoured to be joined by one of my all-time heroes, musical in all senses, Mike Patton. Mike, welcome to the Simon Neil Experience. How are you doing?
How you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, man.
No, man. No problem.
So I just want to start with, most people struggled in the lockdown to kind of get going and to get the juices flowing. Now, you don't seem to have missed a step. Did you feel that you lost a bit of your rhythm at the start of everything happening with the pandemic, or did you just...
At the start, no. At the start, I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I don't have an excuse to, like, go out and see people. I can just do my thing. But however, after like, say 3 months of that, starting last, I want to say February, March, I realized, damn.
Yeah, did you miss?
I need other people. Yeah. I need the information. I need to interact with people. And I don't think that I knew that before.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You can kind of feel like it's good to have the choice normally. Like, it's nice to just choose to be antisocial at points, but when you don't have that option to actually integrate with people, it's quite an existential kind of feeling, isn't it? You're like, well, what are we here for? What is necessarily being a human, but especially being creative. I mean, you were coming off the back. You'd released a Corpse Flower record with Jean-Claude Vanier. I hope I did his name justice. You did the Bungle record, obviously, Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny, and you did the Tetema with Anthony Pateras. Although I think he's Australian, so maybe I'm saying that too Spanish. Or that was Neuroscope, and now you're back with Tomahawk. You have the new Tomahawk record coming out, Tonic Immobility.
Yes.
So when did you get all this done?
That's a multi-layered question.
It is. So let's focus in on Tomahawk at the moment, seeing as that's the record that's on the horizon.
So that one actually was recorded maybe 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
Right? And I was busy doing other stuff, and I was like, hey, I'll get to it when I get to it. And I finally got to it and realized like how good it was. It just took me a minute. So that was a slow burning record. On all accounts.
Do you find it when it's coming from like a rock band format? Does that need to kind of romance you a bit more and maybe flirt with you a bit more? Because on a basic level, does that maybe not excite you quite as much as perhaps other projects? Just on the basic level of, like, say, guitar, bass, drums, is that something you need to build?
Good question. Yeah, but no. The answer is no.
Okay.
I approach every project the same way. Whether it's an orchestral thing or, a film score or, a rock record, all of those are equally important, to me. The thing is that when you're like writing lyrics and stuff, you got to be inspired. Like, you got to actually feel it, and it took me a while to feel this music for whatever reason. And it's not that it's bad. It's that I just didn't feel it. And then finally, boom, it clicked.
And did it all did the floodgates kind of open, and then did you do a lot of your vocals in quite a short period of time then once those floodgates opened?
Word. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Exactly.
And what about, did you feel a change in Tomahawk since Trevor Dunn came on board on, was it Anonymous? It was the first record, I believe, he maybe played with you guys, or was it Oddfellows? Forgive me.
I don't think he played on Anonymous. I think it was Oddfellows.
Was it nice to bring him into the fold? Does it ever become confusing with Trevor? Because you do so much amazing different projects with him, including Moonchild Trio and things.
Yeah, he's like my security blanket. Like, he makes me feel good.
Your weighted blanket. We all need a weighted blanket.
Yeah. I mean, come on. You're a singer too. And having a bass player that's solid and creative is kind of part of the game.
It's the trust.
That needs to be there. It has to be there.
Of course. And because you've had such a long-term relationship, I mean, you guys were buddies from when you were teenagers. And I should point out to listeners, obviously, Trevor Dunn's played with Mike in lots and lots of different projects, including Mr. Bungle, Fantomas, the Moonchild Trio with John Zorn, and many, many other things. fortunate enough in my teenage years to discover adult themes for voice. Now, as a
Fortunate?
as a kid,
I wouldn't say fortunate. I'd say unfortunate.
well, it changed my life, whether you like it or not, Mr. Patton. I was a teenager. I was in a record store in Canada, I think I was at that point, and obviously I was familiar with Faith No More. I wasn't aware that you'd already been working with John Zorn and things, but I've since obviously figured your relationship with John Zorn and all that. But this, to me, as someone coming from the most extreme thing I heard at that point was probably Slayer or Pantera or something, and to hear this record really reshaped what I thought the potential of just sound and sonics and what a record and what a concept of something could be. And it really, really changed my life. And I was wondering if there was a similar kind of moment when you were listening to music of some sort that just made you forget all rules. That there was basically no rules to music. Nothing actually exists apart from what's happening in that moment. Was there a record for you in particular that kind of changed your outlook, or was it a gradual progression?
Yeah, not really. But if I were to choose, I would say Bad Brains, Eye Against Eye.
Ah, okay. HR, one of the best frontmen of all time.
Yep. It just made me rethink, like, oh, okay, this is the way hardcore should sound. It really messed me up. It really messed me up in a great way.
Were you exposed? Was there a lot of shows coming through your town? I mean, because you were...
No, hell no.
No,
we had to drive about 400 miles.
That's the length of the UK. You could do a whole UK tour for that.
Yeah, so it was like 400 miles for us to get to San Francisco, where I live now. And that's the only place we could see the shows we wanted to see. So we drove down, we saw Venom.
Wow.
And I fell asleep during them. They were so... Yeah. They were terrible.
Oh, no.
They were fucking terrible.
How disappointing.
I actually, yeah. But the openers were like Exodus and... I want to say, Slayer.
Oh, fantastic.
And so I was like down with Slayer and like that whole thing.
Yeah, thrash metal and the kind of...
Yeah, Californian thing. And then, Venom came on and I went back to my seat that I was assigned to in the balcony and I fell asleep.
Slayer just must have taken it right out you, man. Did Slayer just...
I guess. I don't know.
Oh, poor Venom. They'll never forgive you. They'll never forgive you for that. And would you get your records? Would it be like brothers or sisters or just you and your buddies? Because again, it's hard for kids now to understand like little things like connecting with Bad Brains, Eye Against Eye. Like you had to kind of work to get your record.
Yeah, of course.
You either had to drive hours to get a record store that would supply it, or you ordered it, or you had to go to the show. And I think that level of effort just meant our attachment to music was maybe more intense. I mean, I know it's maybe hard to compare to these days, but there is that deep connection that you have when you feel that you've sought.
Well, yeah, you
things.
got to chase it.
So did you trust your buddies? Was that buddies or kind of brothers or sisters or?
Well, actually, it was me.
Were you that guy passing out?
I worked in the record
cassette
store.
tapes. Fantastic.
I worked in the record store, so I was sort of in charge. I could order stuff, and I ordered like so many crazy things. Not even Venom, like SoCal skate punk bands. Like that's what I wanted to hear. What I'd do is once we got the records in, is I would tape them. I would tape them for my friends. And I never got fired, which is the weirdest thing ever. Because I was not doing good stuff.
Not bringing in the big sellers. Cassettes were the best way to share music, though, back then. I used to love a 90-minute cassette. You get an album on each side, normally, unless someone was obnoxious enough to make a longer than 45-minute record.
What albums did you buy?
Oh, at that point, I mean, I remember having... Well, I mean, the Slayer Decade of Aggression was one of the first cassette tapes, and I have to say that that one of the first CDs I bought was King for a Day. I was just in that era.
Really?
I was in that I was born 79, so coming into the 90s, early 90s was...
You're young, man.
Well, I don't feel it so much anymore, mate. But just that era, I feel, see, when I look back now, I feel very fortunate, and that was such a fruitful and genuinely iconic era for like guitar music as such. So that kind of really supplied me my education.
You play a left-handed guitar, am I wrong?
No, I'm right-handed. Our other guitarist plays left-handed, Mr. Mike Venart. But no, I play a guitar like level 42. I've got it right up to my chin. It's a Strat.
Level 42.
Come on, lessons in love, man. Lessons in love.
That.
Lessons in love. Mr. Mike Patton, thanks for joining me. Thanks for talking about all these different things.
Thank you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure. And yep, take care of yourself. Stay safe. Thank you so much, Mike Patton, for your time there. The song in the middle you heard was Tomahawk, Predators and Scavengers, which is more of a rock song for this evening's show, but it felt appropriate to play it. And you know what? I'm still recovering from that chat with Mike Patton. You know, he's someone who intrigues me so much from all his projects, and I'm sure I'm going to spend most of the time gushing about him. But honestly, as a musician and as a creator of music myself, I love his fearlessness. I just think he does whatever he wants to do, and it's easy to forget that actually the talent he has in his voice means that he can do opera, he can do screaming, he can do death metal, and that's why he's such a constant inspiration for me. So thank you so much for your time, Mike Patton, on there. So this is Simon Neil. This is a Simon Neil Experience. Week 3 is experimental / noise / left field music tonight.